Okay, guys, welcome back. This is 3.7 Entrepreneurship in Business 101, the most effective way to engage in entrepreneurship. So welcome back, guys. This is one of the last videos that we're going to cover. This is going to be the second to last video overall for the money management basics series. Congratulate yourself. You have just gone through the money management basics series, and this is one of the last things that we're going to cover. So what we're going to cover in this particular video, this is going to be a two-parter. The first part is going to be entrepreneurship. So we're going to talk about how to engage in entrepreneurship. And in the second video, I'm going to engage in evaluating businesses and business opportunities, business processes, and implementing Robert Kiyosaki's BI triangle. But before we do anything, disclaimer. The financial information contained in this video is for informational purposes only and not for the purpose of providing specific financial advice. You should contact a financial advisor to obtain specific financial advice. All right, so this is a course overview. Once again, like I said, this is going to be the second to last one, Entrepreneurship in Business 101. So now I'm going to talk about business in a way that you guys probably haven't heard it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the entrepreneur and the business itself. So I say business has two sides. One side is going to be the entrepreneur, and this is going to be the person working on the business, developing the business team, and leading the organization towards whatever goals it has. Now, I'm going to talk about the business. The business is the collection of the processes, systems, tools, and resources needed to achieve its goals. And a business is intended to solve a particular problem. But before we get into business and business systems, what I want to talk to you guys about is entrepreneurship and the 7 entrepreneurial skills you need to have. So out the gate, these are 7 of the top skills in entrepreneurship. Now, notice that it's just top 7 skills. The truth is there's a lot of different skills you need to know as an entrepreneur, but I feel that these are going to be the most beneficial and the most potent for you guys to start off with. So the first one is going to be accounting and finance. The next one is going to be investing and allocating. Next one is sales and marketing. Number 4 is leadership. Number 5 is communications and negotiations. Number 6 is reading and understanding. And number 7 is raising capital. So let's jump into it. Okay, entrepreneurial skill number 1, accounting and finance. So what I want to tell you guys out the gate, you do not need to be a tax accountant or an accountant or any sort of financial expert. You don't need to be a professional in every single skill set that I bring up. But what you will need to do is you will need to have the information that you need in order to effectively navigate through each particular skill. So if you guys remember, we have the 4 questions for effective money management. Good news is they apply for business too. So what you're going to do here is you're going to have to identify the four areas once again. Remembering that income, now we're going to talk about revenue. When it comes to expense, how much is going out, we're going to be talking about costs. When it comes to debts, instead of using debts, we're going to be talking about liabilities. And instead of just regular savings, we're going to be talking about assets. Moving on to entrepreneurial skill set number 2, and that is going to be investing and allocating. So when we're talking about investing and allocating, we're not talking about being an investor or a hedge fund manager. But you do need to understand two critical points. The first one is you have to understand what's worth pursuing for the business and how much resources should be used in pursuing whatever the business is going to do. Okay, moving right along to entrepreneurial skill set number 3, and that is sales and marketing. Okay, so when it comes to sales and marketing, you don't have to be a sales or marketing professional or expert, but you do need to understand a couple of things about, sorry about that. You're going to have to understand a couple of things about both. And you need to understand who the customer is and the best, most effective way to deliver your product or service to them. So you need to first outline your ideal customers, figure out who you're going to sell to, and then you need to outline the best strategies to sell to them. And that's the kind of stuff that you're going to cover with sales and marketing. Moving right along to entrepreneurial skill number 4, and that is leadership. So when we talk about leaderships, you don't have to become the greatest leader that the world has ever known in order to do this. But there are a couple of things that you are going to need in order to effectively be a great leader. And a couple of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to become accountable. So when I talk about accountability, you are responsible for the business. You have to understand that you, as the entrepreneur, are responsible for the success or failure of that business. Now, this doesn't mean that if your business fail, you should feel like a failure yourself. As far as that's concerned, trying to start a business is literally one of the hardest things that anybody could ever do with their lives. And it's important to know that even if you do fail, just keep in mind, in most cases, 99% of businesses fail within the first 10 years. So you're not in bad company, but you have to understand that accountability is going to be key for you. You're going to have to be responsible for whatever happens to the business. And that means not just responsible for yourself, but you're also going to have to be responsible for anyone in the team and what they do in that business. The next one is going to be patient. So you're going to have to be patient with yourself, and you're going to have to be patient with others. Now, it's not going to be perfect, and it's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight. So when I say patient with yourself, I mean you're going to have to understand that it's going to take time in order to get this business thing right. And you're going to have to not punish yourself for not getting there as soon as you would have wanted. So you're gonna have to stay motivated. Now, being patient with others is going to be about the people around you. Now, if you guys have ever heard the term problem child or a problem employee, these are the kind of individuals where it doesn't seem like anything you do, they just can't seem to get with the program, quote unquote. Now, I read a very good book about this, and they talk about the problem child. And the problem child, the best description of why they are the way that they are is a problem child is usually an employee that has been taken advantage of or abused in their career with whatever business they were working for or businesses they were working for before you came along. So because of that, they've developed tendencies to compensate for that. So the most important thing when you get individuals like these are to be patient with them and try as hard as you can in order to get them on path, to keep them motivated, because in truth, these are the kind of individuals who will become raving fans for your business. And a raving fan as an employee is invaluable. The next one is going to be problem solving. So you're going to have to solve a lot of the problems with the business. And that's going to be things like the problem that you're going to have with people and problems that you're going to have with processes. Now, me as an engineer, I can tell you this much. The problems with processes is actually a lot easier than the problems that you're going to experience with people. Now, if you guys have ever had a job, then you probably understand exactly what I mean when I say that people problems are probably more harder to overcome than any business processing problem that you guys have ever experienced. A lot of the problem is when you go into a business, a lot of the problems that you're going to have are going to be people problems, and you're going to have to keep that in mind. And even when you start your business, you're going to have to understand that you're going to run into a lot of people problems. Now, I say that over and over again, just so you guys know. You're going to have to solve a lot of people problems. So moving on, something that's similar to the prior one of people problems is motivation. So it's up to you to keep everyone motivated. You have to keep your entire team focused and on task, so everyone knows what their role is and what the business is trying to do and trying to accomplish. And this could be really important. I know with the money manager's process, I kept going back to step 6. Stay motivated is the most important one, and that is the most important for here too. So you as a leader, you have to keep everyone motivated. And remember, accountability. You're responsible for what happens to the business. Now, the last one is appreciation. You want to celebrate your people. So this is one of the things that sometimes people don't get enough of, and you probably experienced it too, where you feel like you're busting your butt, and you don't get any recognition for it. And it's sorry about that, guys. As far as recognition, it doesn't necessarily have to be a raise. Sometimes it could just be you did a great job. I know for myself, one of the first jobs that I had, the day that I got my paycheck, my boss told me that I was doing a good job, and that compliment meant more to me than that paycheck. And like at that point, I was in a really bad spot, and I really needed the money. But I definitely say that small bit of appreciation went a long way. Moving on to entrepreneurial skill set number 5, and that is communications and negotiations. So as far as this is concerned, one of the things that you guys have to understand is you do not need to become a psychologist or an FBI hostage negotiator. So you probably heard of a psychologist, and you probably have not heard of a hostage negotiator. So these are the kind of individuals where, let's say you have a bank, and you have a bank robber holding on to everyone inside of the building. So when it comes to situations like that, sometimes what will happen, if they get a little too out of hand, they'll actually have a negotiator talking to the robber. So that is the person that that's the person that I'm talking about. And one of the reasons why I bring them up is because of high stakes. And sometimes when negotiation, you run into high stakes, you're not going to have to worry about something like that in your run-of-the-mill business, unless you do some sort of business where that kind of negotiation is prevalent. I don't think you're going to have to worry about having negotiation skills and negotiation stakes of that magnitude. Now, a couple of the things that you have to understand is you're going to have to understand that you want to strive for win-win negotiations. So if you guys remember 3.5 negotiations and composite finance, in the negotiation part of the video, I did tell you guys about striving for win-win negotiations, and that's definitely one of the things that you want to do here. You always want to have win-win negotiations so everyone benefits from whatever deal is struck. And then the last one is the most effective way to convey a message internally and externally. Now, internally means what you're going to tell to the team and what you're going to say inside of the business. Externally, that is what you're going to say to the customers or investors, anyone who's outside of the business about what's going on inside of the business. Moving right along to entrepreneurial skill number 6, reading and understanding. All right, so when it comes to reading and understanding, you're not a psychic, you're not a mind reader. In most cases, I don't think you're going to have some form of telepathy where you're going to be able to understand exactly what someone's thinking or exactly how someone received whatever you said. And you don't have to be, but you do have to understand a couple of things. One of the things that you're going to need to understand as the entrepreneur is you're going to have to understand that what's being communicated to you and what's its intent. So when I'm saying you have to understand what's being communicated to you, what I mean is you have to understand what someone essentially is saying to you. Now, when I say intent, a lot of the times, even though you understand what someone is saying to you, you might not understand why they're saying it to you. And that's one of the things that you have to do. Once you can accurately identify what someone's saying to you, you need to also understand why they're saying it to you, because that could be more important than whatever it is that they're saying to you. And I definitely recommend at least increasing your communication skills to the point where if someone says something to you, you stop wondering exactly what they're trying to say. You can figure it out, but you go on to the next step and wondering why did they say that to me? And the next one is how what you communicate is received. Now, this one is a soft skill in the sense that it's not like you're in someone's head and you know exactly how they took whatever you said. But one of the things that you can do is after you say something is to gauge exactly what's going on the person's face, or what's going on with their voice. Is there any changes? Or something to that extent. And the main reason why you want to do that is because you're not a mind reader, so you don't know what's going on in their mind, but you can at least understand better where they're coming from, and that could be invaluable as an entrepreneur. The next one is striving to improve communication skills. So us as humans, I know sometimes if we have had really good success with communicating with people, we might just say, oh, our communication skills are really good and we don't have to work on them. And one of the things that I have to say as a human being is that is a fool's game. Don't ever stop trying to improve your communication skills. Even me, as of right now, I know there's been times where people have come to me and they said something to me, and for some reason it didn't seem to me that was something that person was saying to me. It seemed like they talked to someone beforehand, and then that person told them to say something to me in a certain way, and then they told me. So as far as communication skills are concerned, I know that's probably not very easy to communicate when I'm trying to communicate to you guys. It's mainly because I'm trying to power through this one, so I'm not going to have too many scenarios when it comes to different entrepreneurial skills. But what I'm trying to get at is it's just accurately identifying what someone's communicating to you and how what you said affects other people. Okay. Moving right along to entrepreneurial skill number 7, raising capital. So you guys do not have to be a politician on campaign. But what you do need to understand is you do need to understand who to contact when you're trying to raise money for whatever venture you're going into. And this could start off with friends and family. These are people that you know that who may not understand what you're going into as far as your business is concerned, but these are people that know you and they know what you're capable of, and they're more or less likely to give you money blindly than, let's say, another type of investor. Now the next ones are going to be angel investors and venture capitalists. Now I bring these two in because when it comes to angel investors and venture capitalists, most people don't know the difference between the two, and that could actually run you into a bit of run you into some problems. But when you're thinking about an angel investor, it's a really fluffy term for the kind of investor that's more of a mentor. Essentially, what happens in dealing with an angel investor is an angel investor sees your business, they see what would need improvements, and they would offer both money for an ownership stake in the business and advice on how to improve the business. Now, typically when it comes to really early on in a business, having an angel investor could be more of a benefit than a venture capitalist. Now, a venture capitalist, this person has a vested interest in making sure that the business is profitable. Now, if you have a venture capitalist too early on in a business, what will end up happening is your business will probably need to do things in order to make it more profitable so that it reaches the goals of the venture capitalist. And when it comes to venture capitalists, you have to understand that they view your business as a product, and they probably have 15 different businesses just like that. And in certain cases, you are going to have to watch what the venture capitalist is doing in terms of the agreement that they state. Now, when it comes to a venture capitalist, you have to understand that once again they're doling out a lot of money, and they know that not every business is going to make it, so they have certain safeguards set in place where they can actually recoup their losses from all of the different ventures that they are funding. So one of the things that I'm going to tell you guys is you're going to need to understand what they need to hear in order to give you money. Now, when it comes to raising capital, these are the most common ways of doing it, but there's actually multiple different ways of doing it. And I'm actually going to go into a book that's really good about financing a business. Okay, guys, so that's pretty much all I have for the entrepreneurial segment of 3.7. Now, I want to talk to you guys about a secret truth about entrepreneurs. And what that is you do need a business to work on, but you don't need to own your own business to be entrepreneurial. Yes, so you don't need to own your own business, but you do need a business to work on. And the reason why I say that is because the CEO to a company has to be entrepreneurial, more so than, let's say, one of the ground line workers. Now, I'm not saying that one of the frontline workers shouldn't be entrepreneurial. Not at all. They should be entrepreneurial as well. But you have to understand that most entrepreneurs that are the CEO and founder of a company, a lot of steps that they have to take. It has to be entrepreneurial. It has to innovate, and it has to help the business go closer to whatever its mission is and become more profitable. Okay, guys, so now we're going to get into a couple of the books that I think you guys should take a look at. These are all books in entrepreneurship. The very first one at the top, once again, it's with the Great Courses series. And a lot of the stuff that I'm showing you guys with the Great Courses series, incredibly good stuff. I definitely recommend you guys take a look at their catalog. But in the description, I actually have all of these books, and if you guys want them, there's links to each one in the description below. So the first one is the Entrepreneur's Toolkit, and in this one, I've actually listened to this on Audible about five times as the recording of this video, and this one is incredibly good. I definitely recommend you guys take a look at that one. The next one is by Bill Aulet, and this is the Disciplined Entrepreneur. And one of the things that Bill Aulet does is he's actually he's a professor of entrepreneurship over at MIT, and I have to say this is another really good piece on entrepreneurship. One of the things that Bill Aulet says is he asks a question: can entrepreneurship be taught, or are you just naturally an entrepreneur? And one of the things that he says is that entrepreneurship can be taught. And another thing that he talks about is, can entrepreneurs be disciplined? And what he argues in this book is he argues that an entrepreneur has to be disciplined. And that's one of the things that I really like about that book. It covers about 24 steps on launching a successful business. Definitely a really good thing to look into. Now, if you guys remember what I was talking about with raising capital, this book right here, Finance Your Own Business by Garret, Sutton, Esquire, and Jerri Detweiler. My God, this is one of the best things that I was able to find on raising capital. This actually goes into a lot of different things. It doesn't just go into just raising money from angels and venture capitalists. It also goes into credit scores and small business credit, financing and leverage, and it has a lot of different things in it. I definitely recommend you guys take a look at that. That one is actually one of the best things that I've found on raising capital. The next one is Trump University Entrepreneurship 101, and that is by Michael E. Gordon. So if you guys saw the money management overview, then you guys already know that I already talked about the Trump University and the Trump University case with Donald Trump. And I'm not here to endorse Trump 101. Trump University. I'm just here to tell you that I've came across these books and I've actually absorbed the information from these books, and I have got to say, okay, powering through this. And I've got to say that this is actually one of the greatest things that I found on entrepreneurship. So I'm going to have that in the description below. You can do it at your leisure. as far as if you don't want to do it just because of currently the sentiment on Trump, I want you to understand I don't like a lot of the stuff that he's doing now, but I have to say is this came out before he ran for president, and I have to say that this stuff is really good. Now the next one is Millionaire's Mind by Thomas J. Stanley. And this one actually talks about deca millionaires, so $10 million or more. And in this book, this is actually the best book that I found on personal finance. And this was the best thing that I found on personal finance until I found Money Master the Game. So I definitely recommend you guys look at that book. That one actually talks about the kind of things that deca millionaires, anyone who's made $10 million or more, had to do in order to gain their wealth. And that one sorry about that, guys. And that one actually says that entrepreneurs are people who start and own their own business are the most wealthiest of the individuals that gain their wealth. And the next one is going to be 8 Lessons in Military Leadership by Robert Kiyosaki. This one actually covers leadership, so this is a really good book if you guys want to understand leadership. The next one is also by Robert Kiyosaki, and that one is Before You Quit Your Job. And this one actually talks into a lot of the stuff that we often need to address when we're making the transition from an employee to an entrepreneur. And this one actually helps you, and it gives you a practical standpoint of what you need to do in order to become an entrepreneur. Now, the next one is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferris. And I said read that 5 times. Now, The 4-Hour Workweek is actually a really good book, and it talks about optimizing your time and also getting rid of time wasters, and it goes into a lot of the stuff that you may want to do. And I think what Tim Ferriss does here is the book title is really effective, and it's not necessarily about just only working 4 hours a week and then you're going to go into entrepreneurship and everything is just going to be all right. That's actually not what the book is trying to say. It's actually talking about optimizing so you get more done in the time that you have. No, these are all the books. These books are in the description below. Definitely take a look at those books and tell me what you guys think. Okay, so this was the first part of the 2-part series on entrepreneurship and business. On the second part, we're going to cover the business side of all of this. And I want to thank you guys for watching this. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video. If you guys want to get more videos and for personal finance tutorials, please subscribe and you'll receive notifications whenever I upload new ones. So I want to thank you guys, and I'll see you on part 2. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is 3.7, Entrepreneurship in Business 101, the most effective way to engage in entrepreneurship. So welcome back, guys.